Chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not another video. This is a moment heaven designed to reach you. God has been trying to speak, but the noise of the world has been too loud until now. That stillness you just felt, that's Him. You've been asking for a sign, a word, a confirmation that He still sees you. And here it is. You didn't find this message by chance. This message found you. Heaven paused your timeline because your spirit was ready to hear what your mind kept missing. Right now, the atmosphere around you is shifting. You can feel it. Your chest softens. Your thoughts slow. Your heart begins to listen. That's not coincidence. That's divine alignment. God doesn't need a stage to speak. He just needs your attention. So be still. Don't move. Don't scroll. Because before this message ends, you'll realize this isn't just a video. It's a visitation. Chosen one, there are moments in life that break the rhythm of your routine. Moments that feel small on the surface but carry eternal weight underneath. This is one of them. You didn't stumble here. You were sent. The same God who ordered the stars aligned this very second so you would pause long enough to hear Him. Heaven just interrupted your timeline, not to warn you, but to awaken you. You've been moving fast, scrolling, searching, trying to find something that speaks to the ache you can't name. But nothing has filled it, not because you're lost, but because you've outgrown the noise. The world can't feed what God is trying to awaken. That's why your spirit feels restless even when everything seems fine. You've reached the edge of distraction, and heaven had to step in. This interruption is divine. God saw how close you were to giving up, how your faith was thinning beneath the surface of "I'm fine." He knows how much you hide behind strength. He knows you've been pouring from an empty cup, smiling while your spirit silently whispers, "I can't keep doing this." That whisper was a prayer, and this moment is His answer. The message you're hearing now isn't random words floating through an algorithm. It's a response written in heaven's timing. Every delay, every disappointment, every unanswered question has led to this pause. God needed you still for just long enough to remind you that He's still speaking. He hasn't been distant. He's been waiting for silence. You've mistaken the silence for absence, but it was alignment. When the noise stopped, your soul became reachable. You thought God was quiet because you did something wrong. But the truth is, He's been closer than your breath. Sometimes He stops speaking because He wants you to feel Him instead. Presence speaks louder than words ever could. This moment is holy ground, right where you are. Whether sitting, lying down, scrolling on your phone, heaven just entered your atmosphere. You may feel a sudden calm, a warmth in your chest, a tear forming without reason. Don't rush it. Don't explain it. Just breathe. This is what divine connection feels like. It's peace wearing the disguise of stillness. God is saying, "You've been running on survival, but I'm calling you back to surrender." The world taught you to move faster when you feel uncertain, but heaven moves in the opposite direction. Slow down. Listen. The revelation you've been chasing is not ahead of you. It's here in this stillness. You don't need to find God. You need to notice Him. Chosen one, understand something sacred. When heaven interrupts your timeline, it's not to delay you, it's to realign you. You weren't falling behind, you were being repositioned. What you call interruption, heaven calls invitation. God stopped you here because what's next in your life can't be built on distraction. This is the moment your spiritual frequency changes. You'll feel it in the hours ahead, the inner pull toward peace, the sudden disinterest in chaos, the awareness that certain voices no longer fit your spirit. That's not isolation, it's elevation. Heaven is tuning you to hear what most people ignore. Don't rush to the next thing. Stay here a moment longer. Let the presence saturate you. The more you listen, the clearer it becomes. God has been talking all along. Every coincidence, every whisper, every moment of stillness was his voice in disguise. Chosen one, this interruption isn't punishment, it's protection. You are heading toward noise that could have drowned your purpose, and heaven stepped in. You don't have to earn this encounter, you just have to receive it. God paused your scroll because he still has plans for you, plans that require your attention, not your performance. So take a breath, feel the peace. Don't fight the stillness, because right now heaven isn't far, it's speaking. And if you can feel the quiet weight in your chest, that's confirmation. You're exactly where you're meant to be. This moment is not content. It's contact. And it just changed everything. Chosen one, God does nothing without purpose. Every moment he allows carries precision. And this one is no exception. You didn't hear this message yesterday or last week because your heart wasn't ready then. You had to walk through certain hours, certain emotions, certain silences to reach the frequency you're in right now. Heaven waited for this exact second because it's the only one where your spirit could receive what your mind would have resisted before. The reason you're hearing this now is because divine timing is finally catching up with divine preparation. For months, maybe years, you've been in what felt like delay. Doors that should have opened stayed shut. People who promised to help disappeared. Opportunities dissolved right when you felt ready. But every detour was direction. Every not yet was heaven rearranging what would have crushed you if it had come too soon. You see, God doesn't just answer prayers, he prepares the atmosphere to hold them. If he had spoken this same word to you during your frustration, you would have heard it through fear. But now, after everything, you're hearing it through faith. That's growth. That's maturity. That's alignment. God needed your heart steady enough to handle his voice without breaking under its weight. He chose this moment because you finally stopped striving. For the first time in a long time, you're not trying to fix everything yourself. You've surrendered, even if quietly. You reached the end of your own strength, and that's exactly where his voice begins to echo the loudest. Heaven speaks most clearly to the hearts that have stopped shouting back. Chosen one, you've been in a refining season. The pain, the waiting, the confusion, they weren't punishments, they were filters. God has been filtering out the noise, the distractions, the attachments that blurred your hearing. That's why certain people faded, why certain plans fell apart, why the same cycles kept repeating until you learned the pattern. He wasn't ignoring you. He was isolating the signal. And now, the static is gone. That's why his voice feels closer. You can finally sense him again. Not because he moved, but because you did. The distractions that once pulled you away no longer hold power. You're lighter, quieter, and far more aware. This is what spiritual clarity feels like. God chose this exact moment because everything inside you has aligned with heaven's rhythm. You've reached the point where obedience sounds more beautiful than control, where peace feels safer than explanation, where faith is no longer a theory. It's your lifestyle. You've stopped chasing signs because now you've become one. You're hearing this because something in your spirit whispered, "I'm ready." And heaven heard it. The words you speak don't always trigger God's movement. It's the posture of your heart that does. Right now, that posture is open, soft, expectant. That's all he needed. Chosen one, this moment was written long before you existed. Every challenge you faced shaped the vessel that could now hold this revelation. Every why you screamed prepared the depth where truth could finally echo. Heaven doesn't waste pain. It converts it into perception. And the clarity you feel right now, that deep, unexplainable calm, is proof that the process worked. God waited for this exact moment, because now, when he speaks, you listen differently. You're not hearing for comfort, you're hearing for calling. You're not chasing miracles, you're aligning with purpose. That's the difference between survival and surrender. And that's why the timing couldn't be earlier. The same way morning light breaks only when the horizon is ready. Revelation comes only when your spirit can carry it. You've reached that horizon. You've walked through the night long enough. And now the first light is here, not outside, but within you. Chosen one, heaven has been holding this word until your atmosphere could sustain it. And now it's here. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time for what God planned since the beginning. This is why he waited. This is why he whispered through silence. Because what's coming next in your life required this exact level of readiness, the kind that only comes after surrender. You weren't delayed, you were being designed. And now, the design is complete. How heaven speaks through stillness. Chosen one, the voice of God is not found in the noise. It's hidden inside the stillness. Heaven has its own language, and it doesn't compete with chaos. It whispers, it pauses, it waits for quiet hearts to listen. That's why, lately, everything around you has been slowing down. The conversations faded. The distractions lost their flavor. Even your emotions began to soften. It's not that life stopped. It's that heaven lowered the volume so you could hear again. Stillness is not emptiness. It's awareness. It's the space where your soul and heaven meet without interference. The world calls it silence, but in truth, it's sound on another frequency, the frequency of peace. When God wants to realign your path, he first teaches you how to rest, because only a rested spirit can recognize divine direction. You may have wondered why your plans felt paused, why doors seemed closed, why opportunities suddenly froze. But those were not setbacks, they were invitations. God was saying, "Be still, I'm speaking." Every time you tried to move faster, the path grew heavier. Every time you stopped to breathe, clarity returned. That's how you know when heaven is leading. Peace follows pause. The stillness you've been sensing isn't absence, it's instruction. God doesn't shout over the world. He softens the world until you can hear him in a whisper. That sudden calm that interrupts your anxieties, that's not coincidence. That's him. The thought that gently says, "It's okay," while everything looks uncertain, that's his voice, clothed in peace. The tear that falls without pain, the deep breath that feels sacred, the quiet mourning that seems different. Those are conversations between your soul and your Creator. Chosen one. Heaven doesn't need words to speak. It speaks through atmosphere, through timing, through subtle alignments you only recognize when you stop rushing. When you feel drawn to sit alone for no reason. When a song repeats in your head that comforts you. When your body exhales deeply after weeks of tension. These are not random. They are spiritual signals. Heaven, brushing past your awareness to remind you, I'm near. Most people miss divine communication because they keep expecting thunder. But the kingdom rarely arrives with noise. It arrives with knowing. You don't hear it with your ears. You feel it with your spirit. It's that inner warmth that feels like safety. That's why God leads you into quiet spaces. He's not punishing your momentum, He's protecting your perception. The stillness is sacred because it strips away illusion. In silence, you can finally tell what's real. The voices of fear, doubt, and pride fade until only truth remains. And that truth sounds like peace. That's the voice of heaven. It doesn't argue. It doesn't rush. It simply is. When you learn to dwell in stillness, you stop mistaking movement for progress. You realize that sometimes the holiest thing you can do is nothing. Not out of laziness, but out of trust. The moment you stop striving, revelation finds you. The answer you were chasing arrives naturally because your energy is no longer blocking it. Chosen one, heaven speaks through stillness because stillness is surrender. When you stop trying to control the outcome, you create space for God to reveal direction. That's why He keeps pulling you back into quiet, because He's more interested in your peace than your performance. Every great revelation in Scripture began in silence. Moses on the mountain, Elijah in the whisper, Jesus in the wilderness. God still moves that way, and right now, He's moving that way with you. So if life feels paused, don't fight it. The silence isn't a punishment. It's a signal. You are in conversation with heaven, even if no words are being spoken. Every breath is a prayer. Every pause is a message. This is how heaven speaks, not through the loud, but through the living quiet inside you. The moment you learn to listen beyond sound, you'll realize He's been speaking all along. And when you truly hear Him in the stillness, something shifts forever. You stop searching for peace because you've become it. Chosen one. Somewhere along the way, life got louder than God's whisper. The noise of survival, the pressure of expectations, the weight of unanswered prayers, they all built walls around your hearing. You didn't stop believing, you just stopped recognizing. The voice that once guided you clearly now feels distant, almost unfamiliar. But listen closely. He's not gone. He's teaching you how to hear Him again. God's voice has never been absent. It's been patient. It waits for your awareness to rise above distraction. It doesn't demand attention, it draws it. The reason you've been feeling pulled inward lately, the reason silence feels strangely sacred, is because your spirit remembers that frequency. The voice of God is not new to you, it's home. You just forgot the sound of peace when the world turned up the volume. You'll know it's His voice because it never speaks in fear. Fear rushes, God steadies. Fear confuses, God clarifies. Fear condemns, God convicts. gently, truthfully, lovingly. His words don't crush you, they call you higher. That's why when he speaks, your heart doesn't panic. It exhales. You feel lighter, not pressured. You feel seen, not judged. The human voice shouts to be heard. The divine voice whispers to be felt. Recognizing his voice again begins with unlearning the counterfeit ones. The voice of guilt that says you're behind, that's not him. The whisper of comparison that says you're not enough, not him either. The tone of exhaustion that tells you to give up, never him. God's voice always carries peace, even when it challenges you. It won't flatter your ego, but it will free your soul. Chosen one, God speaks in patterns, repetition, alignment, confirmation. He'll echo through numbers, songs, phrases, conversations. You'll hear something in passing that pierces deeper than it should. That's not coincidence. That's communication. Heaven uses the ordinary to deliver the extraordinary. When the same message keeps finding you, it's not random. It's God repeating himself until you recognize his tone again. Sometimes his voice feels like intuition, but sharper. The quiet knowing that says, don't go there, or wait, or call them. It's not logic, it's leading. You can't explain why, but peace confirms it. That's the Holy Spirit guiding your steps one decision at a time. The more you honor those gentle nudges, the louder they become. Obedience amplifies clarity. Heaven's voice also carries familiarity. When God speaks, it feels like love speaking your language. It's not foreign, it resonates. You'll notice that his words never push, they pull. They don't demand action, they inspire alignment. They don't echo anxiety, they breathe assurance. That's why the closer you get to him, the more natural his sound becomes. Recognizing his voice again also means recognizing where he's been silent, not to punish you, but to purify your perception. God sometimes hides his voice to remind you that his presence is more than his words. When he stops speaking, it's because he's already said enough for this season. Silence isn't rejection, it's reverence. It's heaven giving you space to apply what you already know. Chosen one, the process of relearning his voice isn't about hearing something new. It's about trusting what you already feel. You've known his sound since the beginning. It's the same voice that comforted you when you were a child, that nudged you to forgive, that whispered hope when no one else understood. It's the sound that doesn't come from outside you, but from within you. So if you've been asking, God, is that you? This is your confirmation. Yes, it's him. It's always been him. The peace you can't explain, the pull toward purpose, or the sudden urge to change direction, that's his conversation with your destiny. He's not teaching you to hear him again because he's far. He's doing it because he's about to speak more clearly than ever before. And when he does, you'll recognize it instantly. Because the voice of God doesn't need proof. It carries presence. Chosen one, your hearing is returning. Your spirit is recalibrating. You're remembering what divine intimacy sounds like. From now on, when heaven speaks, you won't doubt it. You'll know it, and that knowing will lead you exactly where you were always meant to go. Chosen one, there comes a point in every journey where God stops explaining and starts embodying. The questions don't all disappear, but their urgency does. The noise that once demanded answers falls silent, and what remains is peace. Not the fragile kind that depends on circumstances, but the divine kind that surpasses understanding. When you reach that place, you'll realize something sacred. Peace is the answer. For so long, you prayed for clarity. You asked for signs, for confirmation, for a voice from heaven to tell you what to do. But God was already answering. Not with words, but with stillness. Every time your anxiety broke and calm returned for no reason, that was Him saying, "I'm here." Every moment you thought you were alone, but suddenly felt comforted. That was His presence, speaking louder than explanation ever could. Peace is heaven's way of saying, "You're aligned." It's not passive, it's prophetic. It's the confirmation that the battle has already been settled in the unseen. When you stop feeling the need to fight for what's already yours, you've entered divine trust. And that's when peace becomes your compass. It doesn't point you where to go, it tells you when you've arrived. Chosen one, pay attention to what feels calm. Peace is not the absence of challenge. It's the presence of God in the middle of it. You'll notice it in small, sacred ways. A deep breath that doesn't end in worry, a conversation that feels lighter, a decision that brings quiet instead of confusion. These are not coincidences, they're coordinates. Heaven is mapping your path with tranquility. When peace settles, revelation follows. Your thoughts slow, your heart opens, and you begin to see clearly what fear once blurred. God often hides wisdom inside calm. The moment your emotions stop storming, truth begins to surface. That's why the enemy works hardest to keep you restless, because a peaceful mind is dangerous to darkness. It hears heaven clearly. You'll know you're entering divine flow when things stop feeling forced. The conversations align naturally. The right people appear without striving. The timing feels soft, not pressured. That's not luck. That's spiritual rhythm. Peace doesn't chase, it attracts. When you walk in peace, doors open because the energy around you agree with heaven's order. Chosen one, understand this. Peace isn't just a reward, it's a revelation. It's God proving to you that His presence is stronger than your problem. You don't need another sign. The calm you feel is the sign. That's how heaven confirms alignment. Anxiety is the language of disconnection. Peace is the language of presence. Stop trying to explain why you feel calm when everything looks uncertain. That calm is the miracle. It's the evidence that your spirit is seated above what your eyes can see. God doesn't remove every storm. He changes your altitude until storms can't reach you. Peace is proof that you've risen. And when peace becomes the answer, you stop negotiating with fear. You stop over-explaining to people who don't understand your calling. You stop begging for doors that were never yours to open. You learn to rest even when the outcome isn't clear, because you trust the one who wrote it. That's not ignorance, it's intimacy. Chosen one, the world will always tell you to chase clarity, but heaven teaches you to guard calm. Because when your peace of knees unshaken, you've already won. That's why God's greatest gift is not always breakthrough. Sometimes it's balance. The ability to stay still when everything else shakes. Right now, if you feel that strange calm washing over you, don't question it, receive it. That's not detachment, that's divine protection. Heaven is wrapping your mind in quiet strength. The battle you thought was still raging is already finished. Peace is just the echo of victory, so breathe deeply. You don't need to understand it. You just need to keep it. Let peace become your default, your direction, your declaration. Because once you realize peace is the answer, you'll stop asking questions that no longer need words. And in that silence, you'll hear it clearly, the heartbeat of heaven, reminding you you're safe, you're seen, you're covered. Chosen one, connection with God was never lost, only buried under noise, fear, and disappointment. Heaven doesn't disconnect, it waits. The distance you've been feeling wasn't separation. It was static, interference from the world, from worry, from wounds that made you question if you were still worthy to hear Him. But tonight, that interference ends. The line between heaven and your heart is open again. God has been reaching for you through subtle ways, through sleepless nights that turned into prayer, through songs that felt like messages, through quiet moments where tears replaced words. Those weren't coincidences. They were reconnection attempts. Every time your heart softened unexpectedly, heaven was pressing call again. You might have thought you missed Him, but God never hung up. Restoring connection doesn't begin with doing more. It begins with being real. God doesn't need your perfection. He desires your presence. You don't have to pray with fancy words or ritual. Sometimes the most powerful prayer is the sigh you breathe after saying, "I can't do this alone." Heaven hears that louder than sermons. Because what reopens divine connection isn't performance, it's honesty. You may have believed the lie that you drifted too far, that your mistakes built a wall too high for grace to cross. But grace doesn't climb walls. It walks through them. The blood that redeemed you never lost signal. God's mercy doesn't expire. It evolves into new levels of awareness. That's why, when you think you've failed, you'll suddenly feel peace instead of punishment. That's Him reminding you, "I never left." Chosen one, divine connection is not a fragile cable that breaks under pressure. It's a current of spirit that flows eternally. You can't sever it. You can only stop noticing it. And the moment you become aware again, the current rushes back in. That's what you're feeling right now. The warmth, the clarity, the tears forming without sadness. That's reconnection. Sometimes God lets the signal fade so you'll stop relying on noise. He knows that if His presence felt constant in volume, you'd mistake familiarity for intimacy. So He goes quiet, not to punish, but to deepen your dependence. Silence isn't the absence of God, it's His invitation to listen differently. Restoration begins when you forgive yourself for disconnecting. Stop replaying the guilt. Stop punishing yourself for seasons of silence. God never held that against you. The only thing standing between you and His presence is the belief that you're unworthy of it. Heaven is saying, "I don't need your strength, I need your surrender." Reconnection also happens through remembrance. Think back on the moments you felt Him most, the peace that covered you unexpectedly, the near misses that could have destroyed you but didn't, the whisper that told you to keep going when logic said quit. Those memories are markers, proof that God has been faithful all along. He's not coming back to you. He's reminding you He never left. Chosen one, when your connection with God restores, everything else realigns. Confusion fades. Purpose reawakens. Even your physical space begins to feel lighter. That's because the spiritual current that fuels your life is flowing freely again. You start noticing beauty where you once saw burden. You speak softer, walk slower, breathe deeper. The world didn't change. Your awareness did. And here's the mystery. The more you feel connected, the less you need to feel in control. You start trusting the timing, the pauses, even the detours. You no longer chase signs. You become one. That's the mark of reconnection. You carry presence without trying. You move through the world like a vessel filled with light. This moment right now, your stillness, your awareness, your peace, is proof that the line has been restored. You're not trying to find God anymore. You're remembering that you were never outside of Him. So close your eyes, breathe, whisper, "I'm home." Because that's what this is, a homecoming of the soul. And from this moment on, no silence, no storm, no sin can ever convince you that the connection was broken. It was only waiting to be noticed again. Chosen one, you've heard many words in your life, but not like this one. This isn't information, it's revelation. This is the message heaven preserved for the exact moment your heart would finally be ready to receive it. You didn't scroll into this by chance. You were led here by divine design. Every delay, every detour, every unanswered prayer was part of the choreography that brought you to this sentence. You've been asking, "God, do you still see me? Do you still have a plan for me?" And the answer, right here and right now, is yes. Not a hesitant yes, a thunderous one. Heaven's entire focus is on you in this moment. The angels are silent. Time has slowed. Because the Creator of the universe has chosen this instant to remind you of something sacred. You are not forgotten. The message you were destined to hear is not about what's coming. It's about what's already happening. You're being renewed, recalibrated, restored. The spiritual fatigue, the endless cycles of hope and disappointment, the feeling of being almost there but never arriving, all of that is ending. Heaven is flipping the page of your story. What once felt delayed is about to move at the speed of destiny. You've been trained in silence, strengthened in hiddenness, and purified through waiting. None of that was wasted. God allowed you to walk through emptiness so you could recognize fullness when it came. And now, that fullness is here, not as a feeling, but as a frequency. The air around you carries peace because heaven just marked your new beginning. Chosen one, the message is simple. You are seen. You're chosen. You are ready. You've been carrying weight that wasn't yours, fighting battles that ended long ago. This is your release. You can let it go. Every wound that shaped you is now becoming wisdom. Every tear that fell in the dark is now watering the soil of your next season. God doesn't waste pain. He recycles it into power. And here's what heaven wants you to know. You don't need to beg for purpose. You are purpose. You were sent to this world as a message wrapped in human form, proof that divine resilience exists. That's why you've survived what others didn't. You are not just a recipient of grace. You are a carrier of it. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere changes. When you speak, the frequency shifts. When you rest, heaven moves. This message isn't meant to make you emotional. It's meant to awaken you. You are not waiting for breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. The very presence of your obedience has already changed your trajectory. Every moment you kept going when no one saw you, heaven recorded it. Every quiet prayer, every lonely night, every act of faith that cost you comfort. They built a record in the spirit. And now, that record is being played back as favor. Chosen one, you were never meant to blend in. That's why ordinary environments felt unbearable. You were built for divine expression, not human approval. The world tried to shrink you, but heaven kept expanding you. And this message, right here, is heaven's confirmation that your expansion is complete. You're stepping into the stage of purpose you've been preparing for in silence. Everything you've gone through was a conversation between you and God, and now it's time for the world to overhear the answer. Your life is about to speak louder than your words ever could. People will call it coincidence. You'll know it was coordination. So hear this one more time. You didn't find this message. It found you. Because God never loses track of His chosen. This is your moment of recognition. Your spirit has heard it. Your heart has confirmed it. And now heaven seals it. You were always meant to be here. And from this day forward, you'll never forget why. Chosen one, you may think you clicked this video, but heaven knows the truth. This message clicked you. Long before your hands touched the screen, long before you opened your eyes this morning, heaven marked this encounter on your timeline. You didn't stumble into this moment. It was sent to intercept your exhaustion, to stop the noise, and to remind you that God has been walking beside you all along. This is not coincidence. It's divine choreography. The same hand that guided you through storms, the same grace that carried you when you had no strength left, has brought you here for one reason: to remind you that you were never forgotten. The distance you felt was never absence. It was orchestration. God hid you not to punish you, but to prepare you for the moment He would reveal that every unanswered prayer was answered in silence. You didn't find this message because you were searching. You found it because heaven decided you were ready. Ready to hear, ready to heal, ready to believe again. This was not about algorithms or timing. It was about divine alignment. The pull you felt to stop scrolling wasn't curiosity. It was calling. Your spirit recognized something your mind couldn't name: the frequency of home. Chosen one, this message is not about what's next. It's about what's now. Right now, in this stillness, God is reminding you that you are already walking in the miracle you once begged for. You survived what was meant to end you. You carried faith through fire and came out refined. The peace you feel at this moment isn't random. It's recognition. Your soul has remembered who it belongs to. Every word spoken here was a seed heaven planted inside your awareness. You may not feel the full bloom yet, but the roots are already taking hold. From this day forward, you will not hear God as a distant echo. You will sense Him as a living presence within you. The connection is restored. The static is gone. The silence has become sanctuary. And here's the final revelation. You are no longer chasing God. You are carrying Him. Everywhere you go, His presence goes with you. Your life itself has become a prayer, your breath, a declaration of purpose, your peace, a testimony louder than words. You are not waiting for heaven to visit you. Heaven has decided to dwell within you. This is why you were drawn here. Heaven wanted you to remember your origin. You are not the storm. You are the calm inside it. You are not lost. You are being led. You are not searching for signs. You are the sign that God still moves through humanity. Chosen one, from this moment forward, walk differently, speak gently, rest often, carry peace like armor, because this message didn't come to inspire you for a moment. It came to reawaken you for a lifetime. So when the world feels loud again, remember this stillness. When fear tries to rise, return to this frequency. And when doubt whispers that you're forgotten, smile, because you'll know the truth. You didn't find this. It found you. Because heaven never loses what it chooses. And you, chosen one, were always chosen.